The void between the Andromeda Arm's outer reaches erupted in a flash of quantum distortion. Where empty space had existed moments before, a vessel materialized, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that defied conventional physics. At 15 kilometers in length, the ship dwarfed even the largest Strix battle cruisers that patrolled this sector of space. High Admiral Nixus of the Galactic Confederation felt her crystalline form vibrate with alarm as the emergency alerts flooded her consciousness. After 3 centuries of maintaining peace among the 1,000 species of known space, something unprecedented had occurred. An unknown vessel of impossible size had appeared without warning in one of the busiest trade sectors. High Admiral, her second-in-command's thoughts resonated through the crystalline network. The vessel's energy signature exceeds anything in our database. Its hull composition, we can't even analyze it. Nixus extended her consciousness through the vast network of sensor arrays that monitored Confederation space. The vessel's presence was like a star that had suddenly appeared among carefully mapped constellations. Its very existence challenged everything the Confederation knew about spacecraft engineering. Aboard the human vessel UES Prometheus, Captain Raven Blackwood stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars of humanity's new frontier. After 5 years of faster-than-light travel, after leaving a dying Earth behind, they had finally arrived. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of 40 million human lives in suspended animation behind her. "All systems nominal, Captain," Lieutenant Kai Patel responded from his station. "Quantum drive has successfully discharged. Hull integrity at 100%. The ARC systems are stable, all colonists remain in optimal stasis." "And our visitors?" Raven asked, noting the growing number of alien vessels appearing at the edge of their sensor range. 17 distinct vessel classes detected, Captain. Their weapons are powered but not targeted. They appear to be maintaining a defensive perimeter. Raven allowed herself a small smile. First contact was always going to be tense, but humanity had planned for this moment for decades. They came not as conquerors, but as refugees seeking a new home. Yet they also came prepared for any reception they might receive. On the Confederation's central world of Axis Prime, the Council of Species convened an emergency session. Representatives of 100 spacefaring races gathered in the crystalline chamber, their varied forms, from energy beings to silicon-based life, all focused on the massive hologram displaying the human vessel. "The ship's design is clearly built for long-term population sustainability," noted Representative Zinare, her bioluminescent tentacles pulsing with each word. "Those aren't weapon ports along its hull, they're hydroponics bays and habitat modules." "That makes it more concerning, not less," countered War Chief Thax of the militant Frex hierarchy. His scaled hide bristled with agitation. A vessel of that size could house an invasion force of millions. High Admiral Nixus raised her crystalline appendage for silence. "We must establish contact before making assumptions. Our long-range scans detect no hostile intent, but the technological gap between our civilizations is concerning." Back aboard the Prometheus, Captain Blackwood prepared for humanity's first transmission to the Galactic Confederation. The message had been crafted by Earth's finest linguists, anthropologists, and diplomats before their departure. It would be broadcast in every format they could conceive, from radio waves to quantum entanglement signals. "Begin transmission," she ordered. Throughout Confederate space, on every communication channel and frequency, the message began to play, "Greetings, people of the stars. We are humanity, travelers from the planet Earth. We come seeking peaceful contact and sanctuary among the cosmic community. Our world faces extinction, and we carry with us the legacy and future of our species. We request diplomatic contact and the opportunity to present our case before your governing body." The message repeated in patterns of mathematical constants, accompanied by images of Earth's beauty, its devastation, and humanity's journey to the stars. It was a message of hope, desperation, and determination all at once. In the council chamber, the representatives fell silent as the transmission played. The mathematical precision of the message, the complexity of the technology required to broadcast it simultaneously across all their communication systems, it spoke of a civilization that had developed along a very different path than their own. High Admiral Nixis made her decision. Prepare my vessel for diplomatic contact. If they have traveled so far and revealed themselves so openly, we owe them the courtesy of a formal greeting. She turned to address the council. Today marks a turning point in our history. How we respond to these humans will define our civilization for generations to come. As her diplomatic vessel departed Axis Prime, escorted by a fleet of the Confederation's finest ships, Nixis couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change forever. Humanity had arrived, and with them came technologies, ideas, and challenges that would reshape the cosmic order. The stage was set for either the greatest collaboration or the most devastating conflict in galactic history. And it all hinged on what would happen in the next few hours, as two civilizations, born under different stars, prepared to meet for the first time. The diplomatic chamber aboard the UES Prometheus hummed with barely contained energy as Captain Blackwood watched High Admiral Nixis's crystalline form catch the starlight. The alien leader's translucent body reflected rainbow patterns across the polished floors, a beautiful but stark reminder of how different their species were. Your vessel is remarkable, Nixis communicated through the translator matrix. But you must understand our concern. No civilization in Confederate history has achieved quantum folding technology of this magnitude. Raven nodded, choosing her words carefully. Necessity drove our innovation, Admiral. When we confirmed our sun's instability, we had less than 50 years to develop the means for our species' survival. Your sun. Nixis's crystalline form pulsed with interest. Explain. Dr. Jasmine Singh, the Prometheus's chief scientist, stepped forward. Her weathered face carried the weight of Earth's final years. Solar degradation accelerated beyond all predictions. Our star began ejecting massive solar flares, breaking down our magnetic field. We had a choice: achieve the impossible or watch humanity perish. The explanation hung in the air as Nixis processed this information. Around them, both human and alien diplomatic staff maintained a respectful distance, though everyone was straining to follow the historic conversation. And your quantum drive? Nixis pressed. Such technology was born of desperation, Jasmine finished. We discovered that reality has pressure points, places where spacetime can be folded with surprisingly little energy, if you know exactly where to push. In the observation room above the diplomatic chamber, War Chief Thax watched the proceedings with mounting unease. His scaled hide rippled with distrust as he turned to his aide. Scan their vessel again. There's more here than they're revealing. Deep within the Prometheus, in a section not shown on any official deck plans, Commander Marcus Thorne stood before a massive holographic display. Status indicators showed the condition of weapon systems that officially didn't exist: quantum torpedoes, phase cannons, and defensive matrices that could shred a small moon. Status report, he sub-vocalized to his security team. All systems masked, Commander. Confederate scans are being fed filtered data. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Marcus didn't like the deception, but he understood its necessity. Humanity came in peace, yes, but they wouldn't risk the survival of their species on goodwill alone. The Prometheus was an ark, but it was also humanity's ultimate insurance policy. Back in the diplomatic chamber, negotiations had turned to the pressing question of human settlement. We seek no conquered territories, Raven explained. Only the opportunity to establish a new home on an uninhabited world within Confederate space. We bring advanced technology, cultural knowledge, and the willingness to become productive members of the galactic community. Nixis's form shimmed with what the humans' translators interpreted as thoughtful consideration. And if we deny this request? The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Raven met the alien leader's gaze steadily. Then we would continue our journey. But we hope it doesn't come to that. Isolation serves neither of our interests. Before Nixis could respond, alarms blared throughout both vessels. Lieutenant Patel's voice came through the comm, "Captain, we're detecting massive energy signatures. Multiple vessels just emerged from quantum space." On the main viewer, a fleet of ships appeared, their organic, tentacled forms immediately recognizable to the Confederate representatives. The Kraxan, a species that had rejected membership in the Confederation, known for their aggressive expansion and technological piracy. "They must have detected your arrival," Nixis communicated urgently. "The Kraxan will see your technology as a prize to be claimed." Captain Blackwood's expression hardened. This was exactly the scenario they had prepared for, but revealing their true capabilities could destroy the diplomatic progress they'd made. As she watched the Kraxan fleet approach, she knew humanity's first real test in this new galaxy had arrived. Commander Thorne's voice came through on a secure channel, "Captain, defensive systems are ready. But if we use them, our deception will be exposed," Raven finished. She looked at Nixis, seeing the alien leader's crystalline form pulse with anxiety. In that moment, she made her decision. Sometimes the truth was worth the risk. "Admiral Nixis," she said formally, "there's something you need to know about our ship. And then I suggest we discuss how to handle our unwelcome visitors together." The next few moments would determine whether humanity's first alliances in this new galaxy would be built on trust and mutual defense, or whether their revelation of hidden strength would confirm the Confederation's worst fears. As the Kraxan fleet drew closer, the clock was ticking on humanity's chance to prove their true intentions. The fate of 40 million sleeping humans hung in the balance, as did the future of interstellar diplomacy. The question remained, could the truth about humanity's capabilities bring their species together, or would it tear apart the very alliance they sought to build? The revelation of the Prometheus's true capabilities sent shockwaves through Confederate space. The vessel's defensive systems had not only repelled the Kraxan fleet but had done so with a display of technological superiority that left both allies and enemies stunned. Now, 2 weeks later, the political fallout was still unfolding. In the Confederation's Grand Assembly, Representative Zinare watched the heated debate with growing concern. Her bioluminescent tentacles flickered rapidly as she observed the deepening divide among the member species. The assembly hall had split into clear factions, those who saw humanity as a valuable ally, and those who viewed them as an existential threat. "Their deception cannot be overlooked," thundered War Chief Thax, his scales flushed with anger. "They entered our space with hidden weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Weapons they used to defend not only themselves, but our diplomatic vessel as well," countered Zinare, rising from her gravity pool. "The Kraxan fleet would have claimed both our ships if not for human intervention." High Admiral Nixis, who had witnessed the battle firsthand, raised her crystalline form to address the assembly. "The humans' technology is indeed formidable, but consider their actions. They could have dominated us from the moment of their arrival. Instead, they sought peaceful contact." Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Blackwood faced challenges of her own. The ship's massive hydroponics sections had been opened to Confederate scientists, and the cultural exchange program was in full swing. But the integration wasn't going smoothly. Another incident in Section 7, Lieutenant Patel reported, his dark eyes troubled. The Zrik scientists became physically ill when they observed humans eating plant matter. Apparently, consumption of any living tissue is taboo in their culture. Raven massaged her temples. "Add it to the list. What about the atmospheric issues? The Meridian delegates are struggling with our oxygen levels, and the Volume 10 representative had a severe reaction to human pheromones. Medical is working on solutions, but we're all learning how different we really are," Raven finished. The challenges of coexistence were proving more complex than anyone had anticipated. In the ship's Cultural Exchange Center, Dr. Orion Walsh, the Prometheus's xenoanthropologist, worked tirelessly to bridge the growing divides. His latest project involved explaining human emotion to a fascinated group of energy-based Lumini. You mean your chemical reactions actually influence your decision-making? The Lumini elder asked, their form pulsing with curiosity. Emotions are integral to human consciousness, Orion explained, his passion for the subject evident in his gestures. They're not just chemical reactions, they're part of how we process and understand the universe. The Lumini's light patterns shifted in what Orion had learned to recognize as confusion. But how do you maintain logical coherence when your molecules are in such chaos? Before Orion could respond, an alarm blared through the ship. Not the piercing call to battle stations, but the low pulse that indicated a civil emergency. His communicator activated immediately. Dr. Walsh, report to Diplomatic Suite 3 immediately. Cultural crisis in progress. He arrived to find a standoff between a human diplomatic aide and a Vrex warrior, their bodies tensed for conflict. Between them stood Representative Zinare, her tentacles spread in a peaceful gesture. What happened? Orion asked, quickly assessing the situation. The human smiled at me, the Vrex warrior snarled. Baring teeth is a death threat among my people. The human aide, looking mortified, tried to explain, I was just being polite. How was I supposed to know? This was the challenge they faced, every gesture, every word, every cultural assumption had to be re-examined. Humanity's integration into galactic society wouldn't be achieved through technology alone, but through the patient work of understanding and adaptation. Meanwhile, in the ship's secure conference room, Captain Blackwood met with High Admiral Nixus to discuss an even more pressing concern. The long-range sensors had detected something approaching from the galactic core, something massive. The Kraxan fleet we encountered was just a scouting party, Nixus explained, her crystalline form dimmed with worry. Our intelligence suggests they're marshalling their entire armada. They mean to take your ship by force. Raven studied the sensor data, her expression grim. Then perhaps it's time for humanity to demonstrate why that would be a mistake. Not through weapons. She smiled, causing the Vrex guards to flinch, but through something uniquely human, our ability to turn adversity into opportunity. As she outlined her plan, Nixus felt her crystalline structure resonate with a new emotion, hope. Perhaps the humans' greatest strength wasn't their advanced technology or their powerful weapons, but their capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to forge connections across the vast divides of space and consciousness. The coming conflict would test not just humanity's military might, but their ability to unite a divided galaxy against a common threat. As preparations began, the true value of cultural understanding would prove to be humanity's secret weapon in the battle to come. The Kraxan armada emerged from quantum space like a nightmare made manifest, thousands of bioorganic vessels, their tentacled forms blotting out the stars. The fleet stretched across an astronomical unit, the largest gathering of hostile forces the Confederation had ever witnessed. Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Blackwood stood before a joint command of human and Confederate leaders. The ship's strategic center hummed with tension as representatives from 24 species awaited her response to the impending crisis. The Kraxan believe they can simply take what they want, Raven declared, her voice carrying across the chamber. Let's show them why diversity is strength. She nodded to Commander Thorne, who activated the main holographic display. For 2 weeks, we've been sharing technology with the Confederation, not weapons, but innovations in quantum communications, energy distribution, and biological synthesis. Each of your species has contributed unique insights that have helped us refine these systems. High Admiral Nixus's crystalline form pulsed with sudden understanding. You've been preparing for this from the moment you revealed your true capabilities. Humanity survived on Earth because we learned to adapt and cooperate, Raven confirmed. Now we'll demonstrate that principle on a galactic scale. The plan unfolded rapidly. The Lumini's expertise in energy manipulation combined with Vrex battle tactics. Zrik's biological technology merged with human quantum mechanics. What emerged was something entirely new, a defense strategy that no single species could have conceived alone. In the engineering section, Dr. Singh worked alongside alien scientists, their differences forgotten in the rush of innovation. The quantum resonance field will amplify the luminized energy projection by a factor of 10, she explained, her hands flying over the controls. The Vrex shield harmonics will stabilize the matrix. And our bioorganic processors will regulate the power flow, added Zrick's engineer Kval, their compound eyes gleaming with excitement. The Kraxan won't expect their own technology to be used against them. The first wave of the Kraxan fleet entered weapons range, their ships moving with the confidence of predators who had never known defeat. Their commander's transmission boomed across all frequencies. Surrender the human vessel and its technology. Resistance will result in your annihilation. Captain Blackwood's response was simple, now. The space around the Prometheus erupted with light as dozens of Confederate ships decloaked, each modified with human technology. The Lumini vessels glowed with unprecedented power, channeling energy through human quantum matrices. Vrex warships, their shields enhanced by Zrick's biotech, formed an impenetrable barrier. But the true surprise came from the Prometheus itself. The massive ship's hull began to shimmer, and suddenly there were 5 identical vessels where one had been, perfect quantum duplicates, each as real as the original. The Kraxan fleet faltered, their organic ships recoiling from the impossible sight. Before they could recover, the combined Confederate human fleet struck. Quantum-enhanced Lumini energy beams pierced supposedly impenetrable Kraxan shields. Vrex weapons, guided by human targeting systems, found weaknesses that shouldn't have existed. Their bioorganic technology is adapting, warned Lieutenant Patel. The Kraxan ships are attempting to evolve countermeasures. As we predicted, Raven replied calmly. She turned to Representative Zinare. Your turn. The bioluminescent alien activated her species' contribution to the defense, a quantum virus designed to infect the Kraxan's organic technology. Within moments, the massive enemy vessels began to falter, their biological systems confused by code that spoke their own language. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Kraxan fleet, facing technology they couldn't steal and biology they couldn't adapt to, began to retreat. Their losses were minimal, the combined fleet had focused on disabling rather than destroying their ships, but their defeat was total. As the last enemy vessels fled into quantum space, the command center erupted in celebration. Species that had been suspicious of each other weeks ago now embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of shared victory. High Admiral Nixis approached Captain Blackwood, her crystalline form radiating with emotion. You could have defeated them alone with your ship's full capabilities. Why choose this more difficult path? Raven smiled, this time careful to avoid showing teeth to the Vrex representatives. Because the goal wasn't just to win a battle, but to forge something lasting. Look around you, every species here contributed something vital. We've proven that our differences make us stronger. The victory marked a turning point in Confederate history. The Kraxan threat had been neutralized not through overwhelming force, but through cooperation and innovation. As news of the battle spread through Confederate space, the debate over humanity's place in the galactic community took on a different tone. They were powerful, yes, but they used that power to unite rather than dominate. In choosing to share their technology and adapt it to work with alien systems, humanity had demonstrated a commitment to genuine partnership that no amount of diplomatic words could have conveyed. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Captain Blackwood knew that challenges remained. But today had proven that the galaxy's diverse species could do more than just coexist, they could combine their strengths to achieve the impossible. 6 months after the Kraxan defeat, the landscape of galactic politics had transformed. The Combined Sciences Academy on Axis Prime bustled with activity as researchers from 100 species collaborated on projects that would have been impossible months ago. At its heart stood a testament to change, the first human embassy to the Confederation. In the embassy's central garden, Captain Raven Blackwood walked alongside High Admiral Nixis, observing Earth plants growing in alien soil. The garden had become a symbol of successful integration, terrestrial flora adapted to thrive in their new home while supporting indigenous species. The Council votes tomorrow on your colonization proposal, Nixis said, her crystalline form refracting the light of an alien sun. After your contributions to Confederate security, I anticipate little opposition. And the awakening process? Raven asked, her thoughts turning to the millions still sleeping aboard the Prometheus. The combined medical teams report success in their simulations. We can begin reviving your people as soon as the terraforming of New Earth is complete. New Earth, the name itself represented hope. The planet, located in a stable system within Confederate space, had been unanimously granted to humanity. Its transformation had become the greatest cooperative scientific endeavor in galactic history. In the planet's orbit, the Prometheus had become a center of innovation. Its massive laboratories now hosted scientists from across the Confederation, all working to combine their species' unique knowledge. Commander Thorne had transformed the ship's one-secret weapons sections into joint research facilities, studying ways to adapt defensive technologies for peaceful applications. Dr. Singh led one such project, working alongside Zrix and Lumini scientists to develop new forms of sustainable energy. The quantum full drive was just the beginning, she explained to a group of visiting dignitaries. By combining human theoretical physics with Lumini energy manipulation and Zrix biological engineering, we're approaching solutions that could power entire sectors indefinitely. The changes weren't just technological. In the Confederation's cultural exchange centers, humans and aliens worked to bridge the gaps between their species. Dr. Walsh had developed translation matrices that went beyond simple language, helping species understand each other's emotional and cultural contexts. It's not enough to know what the words mean, he explained to his students, a diverse group of diplomats and cultural attaches. We need to understand how each species thinks, feels, and perceives the universe. Our differences aren't obstacles, they're opportunities for growth. The Kraxan incident had taught them all a valuable lesson. In the aftermath, several Kraxan worlds had approached the Confederation seeking dialogue. The species that had once been feared as pirates were slowly being integrated into the galactic community, their biological technology now contributing to peaceful advancement rather than conquest. In the Combined Sciences Academy's Quantum Communications Lab, Lieutenant Patel worked with a team of reformed Kraxan bioengineers. Their organic technology, combined with human quantum systems, was revolutionizing interstellar communication. Sometimes, he mused, former adversaries make the best collaborators. As the day of the council vote approached, Captain Blackwood prepared her final address to the assembly. The words had to be perfect, they would be recorded in the histories of 1,000 worlds. 6 months ago, we arrived as refugees, carrying the hopes and fears of humanity, she began, looking out over the assembled representatives. Today, we stand before you not just as supplicants, but as partners in building a better galaxy. Earth may be lost to us, but in its place, we've found something greater, a future where diversity breeds innovation, where differences create strength, and where the combined potential of all our species reaches for the infinite. The vote was unanimous. As celebrations erupted across Confederate space, the first colonists began awakening from their long sleep. They emerged into a galaxy far different from what they had expected, not just a new home, but a new understanding of what was possible when different species worked together. On New Earth's surface, terraform engineers from a dozen species worked alongside environmental specialists to create a world that would support not just human life, but a harmonious ecosystem of terrestrial and alien species. The planet would be a living symbol of their new era of cooperation. High Admiral Nixis stood with Captain Blackwood, watching the first dawn break over New Earth's horizon. Your arrival changed everything, the Admiral observed. Not because of your technology or your power, but because you showed us a new way to view the galaxy. Raven smiled, watching ships from across the Confederation descend through the atmosphere, carrying awakened colonists and alien allies alike. The greatest discoveries, she replied, come not from conquering our differences, but from embracing them. Earth's legacy isn't just humanity's survival, it's the lesson that together, we are greater than the sum of our parts. As New Earth's sun rose higher, its light fell on a monument being constructed in the first settlement, a crystalline spire that would house the Combined Sciences Academy's primary campus. Its design incorporated elements from every member species of the Confederation, crowned with a simple phrase written in all their languages. United in difference, stronger in unity. The future that awaited them would have challenges, but humanity had found more than just a new home, they had found a new purpose. In reaching for the stars, they had helped forge a galaxy where cooperation trumped conflict, where diversity bred innovation, and where the combined potential of all species reached ever higher toward the infinite possibilities that awaited them all.